Part 2. Who the Benders Were Before Kansas. No record exists that fully explains who the Benders were before they appeared on the Kansas prairie. That absence is not an accident of time. It is the first clue. Frontier America was porous. Names shifted. Accents blurred. Documents were sparse and easily altered. A family could arrive, announce itself, and be accepted on nothing more than confidence and consistency. The Benders did not merely exploit this reality, they designed themselves for it. They arrived already formed. The family called themselves Bender, but even during their years in Osage Township, neighbors noticed inconsistencies. Sometimes the father was William John. Sometimes he was simply John. The son was John Jr., or John the Boy. Kate occasionally hinted that Bender was not her true surname at all. Later investigations produced alternatives: Pfeiffer, Heydrich, Schmidt, Griffith, Davis. None could be proved, all could be plausible. This was not uncommon among immigrants, but the Benders did not behave like immigrants attempting to assimilate. They behaved like people managing identities. Their accents varied. Their claimed origins shifted subtly depending on the listener. The father spoke with a heavy German inflection. The mother spoke almost no English at all. Kate and John, however, were fluent, playful, idiomatic. This linguistic split is important. It allowed the family to appear both foreign and familiar, mysterious but harmless. It also allowed Kate to control most external communication. This question has lingered for more than a century, and for good reason. Contemporaries accepted the Benders as a nuclear family because that is what they presented. But later analysis, based on ages, behaviors, and dynamics, raises doubts. Kate and John were not typical siblings. They flirted freely with outsiders, but maintained an intimacy with each other that unsettled some observers. The mother appeared far older than the father. The generational structure felt imprecise. One later theory proposed that the group was not a family at all, but a criminal partnership masquerading as one, a configuration chosen because families inspired trust. Another suggested that Kate and John were lovers, with the older pair serving as enforcers rather than parents. No proof survives, but the ambiguity itself was functional. It discouraged inquiry. Whatever the internal structure, Kate Bender was the family's public face and its most dangerous member. She was not merely attractive. She was strategic. She understood men, not romantically, but operationally. She knew how to invite attention without surrendering control, how to suggest intimacy without promising it, how to make a stranger feel chosen. Her claim of spiritualistic ability was not incidental. Spiritualism was flourishing in post-war America, particularly among people grappling with death on a mass scale. Seances, mediums, and spirit communications offered comfort, excitement, and a sense of cosmic order after the chaos of war. Kate did not simply perform seances, she performed herself. She created a persona that blended sexuality, mysticism, and modernity. On the prairie, this made her exotic. In Cherryvale, it made her famous. In the Carpenter schoolhouse, it made her powerful. Spiritualism gave her plausible reasons to touch, to whisper, to isolate individuals, to command silence or attention. It also gave her a moral shield. Who could accuse a woman guided by spirits? John Bender unsettled people in a quieter way. He laughed too easily. He giggled at inappropriate moments. He behaved younger than his years, yet performed adult tasks competently. This combination disarmed suspicion. People do not fear boys who seem harmless. John's role appears to have been logistical. He handled horses. He observed arrivals and departures. He controlled the threshold between road and house. If Kate drew travelers in, John ensured they did not leave easily. His laughter, reported again and again, may not have been nervousness. It may have been pleasure. The elder Bender was built like a laborer and moved like one. He did not speak often, but when he did, people listened. His size alone implied authority. He was the family's physical instrument. The sledgehammer found in the house, heavy, practical, efficient, was not a symbolic weapon. It was chosen for reliability. The blow required strength and precision. The elder Bender possessed both. There is no evidence that he enjoyed killing. There is also no evidence that he resisted it. The mother remains the most opaque figure. She spoke little English, rarely appeared in public, and avoided attention. This made her seem harmless, even pitiable, but she controlled the domestic space. She cooked. She managed the private quarters. She remained near the back of the house, where bodies were later dragged. Silence can be camouflage. Some later writers suggested she was the most fanatical of the group. Others portrayed her as coerced. Neither interpretation can be proved. What can be said is this: nothing happened in that house without her knowledge. Before Kansas, the Benders almost certainly lived elsewhere, and not briefly. Their skills suggest practice. Their system suggests refinement. The house in Osage Township was not an experiment, it was a deployment. They understood timing. They understood concealment. They understood human psychology well enough to repeat success without attracting immediate attention. This level of competence does not appear spontaneously. Where they learned it, river towns, mining camps, border settlements, remains unknown. But wherever they came from, they arrived in Kansas already knowing exactly who they intended to be. Kansas offered 3 crucial advantages: traffic without oversight, land cheap enough to disappear on, communities close-knit enough to resist outside scrutiny. It was a place where a family could settle quickly, build trust faster, and exploit the delay between suspicion and action. The Benders did not hide in Kansas. They performed Kansas, hardworking, hospitable, religious-adjacent, helpful. And for nearly 2 years, it worked. By the time they were fully established, the Benders were no longer just residents. They were infrastructure. Travelers expected them. Neighbors relied on them. Their orchard bloomed. Their table filled. The very normalcy of their presence insulated them. When people vanished, the Benders were not asked why. They were asked if they had seen anything. Follow, like, and share for Part 3.